Hi, my name is Jerry French, and it's my first YouTube video, and I'm super excited. Learning all about a whole new invention called Bitcoin, and it's blowing my mind. I have kids, and they buy stuff on video games, and it's been quite a nightmare because when I let them use a credit card to make a purchase online, I go over there and I try to see if it's a legit site, and it's scary as hell. I have to, right now, as is, with as much caution as I try to exert, I still have to change my credit cards at least twice a year because someone gets a hold of them. Identity theft is just a problem that is rampant, and it's much worse than people. It's not as benign as I thought. Anyway, so now I switch over to Bitcoin, not as much as a believer in Bitcoin, but just as I can send my son $20 in Bitcoin, and there is no of it being my identity being hurt in any way. It's 100% anonymous. And it's funny when you watch the news, politicians have a whole different vocabulary. When they say it's anonymous, what that really means is it's hacker proof. When they say, let's say, hoarding, what they're really saying is savings. They have a whole different way of saying stuff to make it sound almost bad. But in doing that, the ease of use of Bitcoin is surprisingly simple. And just in the last few months, as I've researched it more, there was a time that Apple, we have iPhones, just banned anything Bitcoin. It was shed in a dark light because of a site called Silk Road, and they were using Bitcoin for nefarious drug dealing and whatnot, which woke up the whole world. You know, how in the world can the scum of the earth transact successfully? We're talking about the worst people. So that just woke up the world. Whoa, so how exactly did Silk Road work? How are thieves or criminals able to interact securely? So from that moment, I mean, that woke up pretty much everybody. What is Bitcoin? How is it possible that it'd be so secure that criminals can interact with each other basically on a trustless network? So I know you could just hear around everywhere, boom, what, how, you know, even criminals can use it. It's so secure. And I mean, I just woke up everybody, you know, and of course they did shut it down, and within a month there's now 10 of them, but that still woke up everybody and going, how can anything be so powerful that even the worst people are able to interact in safety? So obviously that spurs everybody. Everywhere you go, you're hearing about it, you know. And of course, everybody knows that if it's real money, you could buy anything with it. And so that's actually an attribute of a real currency. But the currency debate, I don't even partake in it. It's definitely gold 2.0. Anybody who's ever dealt with gold knows what an absolute nightmare it is between the bid and the ask, and you gotta go. There's only a couple places to take gold and exchange it, and if you want an e-gold, it's an extra $25, and you can't slice a chunk off to buy lunch. And when it really shook my world and I was just blown away is I was watching, and a guy that I've watched over, I find very entertaining and very educational. He had one of those barcodes, those US, it's the new barcode. It's a square. Everybody's seen it. And on your Bitcoin wallet, you could use a scan bars to send money. And, I'm like, I like this guy. I'm going to send him $1, just for fun on my TV set. So I scanned it with my phone, and the phone basically said, "Are you sure you want to send this guy $1?" And I said, "Yeah, sure." Boom. And it sent it to him in a whole different country. He's in, I think, Canada. He received the $1, and right then it's, whoa. I just sent him $1, practically free. Micropayments are now real. That's a whole new industry. In America, we're going to be the last ones that realize the value of this because we have ATMs and banks, and we use the US dollar, which is as bad as people say, it's still the best. And but that shows you what's going on. And so at that point, I'm like, I want to get my hands on a Bitcoin. I think everybody go out and buy one Bitcoin. Just buy one and put it away for 10 or 20 years. Because the fact are that there's only going to be 21 million. If you go out over 100 years, it's capped off. It'll never be more than 21 million Bitcoins. And so, instantly your brain goes, well, that means not all of Los Angeles can own a Bitcoin, and it's a worldwide. So how does that work out? That's a huge issue that they overlooked. But that is not, they didn't overlook anything. In the future, no one's going to own a whole Bitcoin. It's going to all be bits. Think of bits as dollars or microbits. Each Bitcoin gets split up into 8 places or 10 places with change. So you have microbits. So in the future, we're all going to be trading in bits. And Bitcoins for, big companies might have a whole Bitcoin. But anyways, right now, I suggest it. Anyone I meet that I talk to, I send them up a wallet and I send them $5, if they're a nice person, and they could go from there. And with that, it really breaks down that wall. Like if you Google it and watch TV, they have all these complex, they go into such details. It's so overwhelming. But when you download it on your iPhone, you can see what they're doing. It's already leaps and bounds. It is day and night difference now. Used to be, you could send my person to person in Bitcoin. I could send you, a whole Bitcoin or a fraction or whatnot. But they've already made it user friendly, where it used to have the Bitcoin and then you could maybe have the price of what that is valued now. Now you have the dollar amount if you're using dollars or yen and whatever, and then the corresponding Bitcoins are smaller and smaller. So when I send my daughter $5, I don't even have to think about the Bitcoin. I go, send daughter $5. 10 seconds later, she has $5. On her screen, it just shows $5. And then if you look at the small print, it'll show you the corresponding Bitcoin, or fraction of a Bitcoin now, obviously. And so do not be discouraged. The one problem online is they go into excessive detail on security. And like right now, one of my favorite wallets on, like if you have an iPhone or Android, but it's like Airbits, where your keys, and that's what it really is. You have keys to your money or your Bitcoins on your wallet, and it's encrypted on your phone, so no one has access to that. Long story short, I'm already getting complex on it. In the last months, it's gone so far that my mom now could see how to do it. It is so simple. And with Bluetooth, and you could text message, I text message a friend money, so easy, But like email, if someone asked you today and you were to be really truthful, just really truthful, how does email work? 99% of Americans I know would just be like, it just works, Who cares how a microwave works? It works every time. And so I just wanted to put 2 main facts out there. One, the limited supply. How Bitcoin is made is it's very limited, and the supply every 4 years gets cut in half. So what you won't find, but some people might mention it, is in 2016 it's going to drop in half again. The security guards, the miners, they encrypt it and basically keep ledgers around the globe so they can never be shut down. They get paid. All new Bitcoin go to the security guards. And so in doing that, I'm oversimplifying it. If they were ever to do anything that's wrong or devious, they would only be hurting themselves. And so what started off on laptops and regular computers has now evolved into an arms race, which is mind-blowing. In the background, what you do not hear about is the Bitcoin network is bigger than anything else. It's bigger, it's 500 times bigger than the top 10 supercomputers in the world. So what they've done is they've actually made a hack-proof system. Now, you will hear that in theory, they could hack into your wallet. Just like in theory, the federal, they could delete your bank account tomorrow and pretend like you never. But it's absolutely absurd. The security is mind-boggling. I have to mention, okay, in the design, it's all centered around cryptology, and they bundle every 10 minutes all the transactions into a puzzle which is encrypted and then attached to the last block, which goes all the way back to the genesis or the origins. So in layman's terms, it is impossible. You won't hear this because everything impossible is too big of a word and should never be used, and that's true. But it's more secure than my bank account or anything else on the globe. An example that I think of is like when Lowe's or Target lost 40 million identifications, right? Yet Home Depot's were unaffected. I don't know if you know that. The reason is because they're two different servers. So they took that very basic idea to the nth degree. And so they're decentralized, and they took that concept to 100,000 computers. So if you want to go and hack it, your prize is gonna be $10. It's gonna be so insignificant that it makes no sense at all. And so you could destroy 90% of the servers or nodes. It does you no good. They'll repropagate, and there's no stopping it. It's worldwide. I could send right now $1 million to England 30 seconds later at no cost, and vice versa to China and back, and a big circle. And if you ever use MoneyGram or Western Union, it is expensive. If you want to send Argentina, we're talking 10, 20, 30% easy, and then you have to exchange it to their local currency. It is so expensive, so archaic. This is not the new PayPal or the new Visa. Those are like horse and carriage, and this is an automobile. It is so efficient, so extreme. It's a brand new invention. There is no comparison. And once it's fine-tuned as it is right now, it actually screams right past any horse and carriage. There is no comparison. And the benefits are so extreme. The efficiency is so dominant that there's nothing that can be done. There's no comparison. And right now, you can still buy a whole Bitcoin. It's bizarre. In the currency exchanges, there's trillions of dollars a day that are traded. And the market cap for Bitcoin is, right now, it's 2015, July, it's like $250. Any way you do the math, any adoption at all, whether it be 10 or 20 years, cannot tell you, but each Bitcoin is going to be worth 100 million, even $1 billion easily. There's no other way. The math is very simple. Not all Hawaiians can own a Bitcoin. It's just not mathematically possible. There's only 21 million. And that's not a problem. We'll be dealing with microbits, which is 1 millionth, 1 millionth of, that will be the dollars. And then a Bitcoin will be $1 million in value, probably $1 billion in dollars, because obviously as we print money, the value goes down, and then every 4 years, the scarcity of Bitcoin compounds in the opposite direction. So it's mind-blowing. And anyways, the reason why I got so excited that I actually had to make my first video to share with you is before, I'm talking just 4 months ago, you had to use localbitcoins.com and drive 45 minutes and meet a guy at Starbucks. Don't get me wrong, it's totally safe and there's escrow and stuff, but it's a pain in the ass. It's not like if you're a millionaire, you go, just give me 1 million Bitcoins. No, they're much harder. They're hard to get. You have to collect them. But in the US now, they have, just in the last few months, they have Coinbase and Circle, where you can just connect your bank account and get them pretty much at cost. And so you don't have to get $1,000 worth at a time and just work your way up. I mean, they still limit it. They don't, like with Circle, I think you could get $2,000 a week. I mean, they're not just letting you just buy millions of dollars worth. They're capping it for multiple reasons. But the point is, you can get them now. And what's even more amazing than that is, like, my son just got a new paintball gun mask for paintballing, and he uses Amazon. You can get 20-25% off anything on Amazon, like anything. Basically what happens is Bitcoins are so valuable in other parts of the world that do actually have access to Amazon, but they don't really have access to Bitcoins. And really they have no option as far as savings. Their local currency just drops in value. You wouldn't even believe it. So they don't have any option for saving for the kids or saving for their older age. But they do want Bitcoins. So what they'll do is, let's say I want a bicycle for $100, right? I just type it into Amazon or purse.io, the bicycle, let's say it's $100. The guy from, let's say, Argentina will buy that bicycle for me, send it to my house through Amazon, and I pay them $75. That's what's really happening. I'm overcomplicating it. The point is, I have a 25% discount on anything Amazon, and my neighbor pays full 100%. So, even if you care about nothing else other than saving money, you might as well go to Circle or Coinbase, convert them from Bitcoins for nothing, and save hundreds, thousands of dollars on Amazon if you're an Amazon person. I don't use Amazon personally, but like my parents do and stuff. So my kid, he buys stuff on Amazon. You can also go to like overstock.com and just buy direct, and it's amazing. You push one button to buy something. It's a lot easier than putting, hi, here's my address, here's my credit card number, here's my secret code on the back, please give this to everybody in the world. I mean, that is a broken system. The powers that be know that is, there's billions, hundreds of billions of dollars of fraud a year, and it's just broken. And I think one of the main reasons why they're not stopping is that they don't know how to deal with this. You cannot send your credit card information over the internet. And now with security questions, the internet knows more about you than you do. I mean, it just slowly asks you, who's your best friend in high school? Where did you grow up? What elementary school did you go to? And what people don't understand is a computer never forgives and never forgets. And it won't be long before it knows more about you than you know about yourself. I know that seems like really scary stuff, and I fall for it too. I mean, I have to switch my debit cards out just like everybody else, so I'm not immune to it. But this is a huge answer. There's no identity attached to your Bitcoins. And wallets are free. You could go to iTunes or if you're on Android, and the apps are absolutely free. For me, I just open like as many wallets as I can because I think they're so neat. And each one has its own little bell and whistle, and they're free. So, I mean, you could just disperse your Bitcoin amongst your wallets, and that's another diversified security if you're into that. I totally trust Coinbase and Circle, and that is a no-no. I'm sure I'm going to be hated by everybody because they are entrusted with the keys, but they're watched like hawks. And if there is a pressure put on there, just so you know, this year alone that I know of is $500 million of Wall Street and venture capital, VC money going to the Bitcoin network. So all this cool stuff that I'm seeing by the week is nothing compared to what's going to come out next year or the year before, because those projects they're doing now are going to be rolled out in the next 2 years. And I already think it's like awesome. You know, I could send you money right now. Like, I won't do it, but if I put a little QR code here, you could send me $1, you know. And that's another thing too. If you watch someone a lot and you like and I would suggest, and you do have Bitcoins, send them a penny, just a penny. I mean, that's nothing. And that just shows the person that you value what they're doing. You know, when my kid's PlayStation was broken, I YouTubed it, and this kid took apart the PlayStation and showed how to clean it out. I mean, people are giving their time and their very valuable knowledge where you can look up everything. And I've been I don't know about abusing the system, but I use it for everything. So, not that I have anything to give, but this is my trying to give back to the non-geek. You know, I speak half geek, I would think, but if you're, you know, lucky enough to be able to set aside $250, whatever, I just want to encourage you to buy one Bitcoin. And if you have kids, maybe one for each of them, and forget about it for 10, 20 years. It doesn't matter if it goes up to $10,000. Who cares? If you say a word, you're going to look like an idiot because it's going to come right back down to 5. And then the next time it's going to go up to, 50. Just put it away for the next 10 years. And that would be my suggestion. That's what I tell every person that I see now. I set them up a wallet. I give them $5. I don't care if it's the taxi guy or the guy at the 7-Eleven. It's just my way of giving back. $5, well, who cares? And what happens is it becomes a lot less scary real fast. You know, when you push a button and you see you have $5, you know, and then you see the next day you have $4.80. The next day you have $5.50. Wow. All right, well, let's just play with this. I'm going to send this to grandma, send this to my buddy. Whoa, look, it just sent him $5. That was not so complicated. That was not so scary. It really is not. Like I said, I use all the wallets, but right now my favorite by far, I wish I could contribute or something, is Airbits. It is a nice balance between easy use. You know how Apple made everything technical, simple, a stamp is how you mail, makes it so it's really hard to mess up. They're going that direction really fast. Each day news is coming out. And the fact that we have, just Coinbase and Circle is huge. I'm sure it's going to be a couple months before people even know that they exist. But now you can start just funneling money in there. It blows gold away by far. They mine over a ton of new gold every year. It's scarce, but it's still on the ground. It's pulling out. And what you won't hear on the internet is the extreme value of it. I don't know why. I think it's reputation. I don't really care about reputation, but I'll go on the record saying it's going to be worth 100-fold. It's the utility of it. And think of like a checkbook. You know, in a checkbook you have the little memo pad. With your transactions, you basically have that. What that means is you could start adding lots of features on the blockchain. So when I send you something, they can basically expand that memo pad and said, I sold you a bicycle for $100. And now they receive that and they sign that when they accept that. So now you have a smart contract. Once again, oversimplifying it just to make it easy. But whether it be your medical records, you can put anything on the blockchain. People have already got married on the blockchain. It's there forever. It's a timestamp that cannot ever be altered. And it's when I say it's open source. When I say it's open source, it doesn't mean open source just for the geeks that can read the code. You can literally go to like blockchain.info and watch the transactions. I mean, you can just watch them and click on them, and when you click on it, you can zoom in and see the details of each transaction. So I just want to translate that into non-geek mode, just like with security with gold. If you ask the wrong person, they're going to tell you to break it into 20 pieces, bury it in 20 different yards, and take the map and eat it and tear it in half. It's just obscene. You can use it for day-to-day life, no problem. And I would really suggest buying $5 worth and just playing around with it, and you're going to have a glimpse into the future. Which is very exciting. Very, very exciting. It's going to make regulations almost obsolete because it is so efficient and so difficult to cheat and difficult to hurt other people. And at the same time, everything's so transparent. Nothing can be hidden. There's nothing in the code that's hidden. It's all open. And it's amazing how that openness just shines so much light into the darkest areas of economics. And not that I want to get into it, but also for, the 4 billion unbanked, better. One village with a smartphone can bank the whole village, and they can now partake in the international trade. In fact, scratch that, better than international trade. They don't have to convert their money from currencies and go through all the different inefficiency steps. By using Bitcoin, it's basically like trading gold. It's universal. So whether they are selling cashmere from their goats, one cell phone in a village can now trade with the world on an international scale without having to go through all those money changers. And one smartphone per village would be enough to accomplish that. There's billions of people in horrible regimes that are really actually hard worker, good human beings that now are able to partake in the world economy, and we can benefit from their services, whether it be sheepskin or whatever, and we can pay them directly and securely, and they're not losing. I mean, for them, 50 cents is a lot of money, and you can't send 50 cents now. There's no micropayments now. It costs $6 to send $4, and that would be optimistic, and so, and they can put that away for their kids and their kids' kids and for their retirement. And this is evolving very, very quickly. This is taking gold for the first time in thousands of years and making it inferior, obsolete, because it's got all the attributes. It's totally fungible. It's totally divisible. It's totally scarce. And what another thing you will not hear, and I don't know why, we're talking about the smartest people in the world are in Bitcoin by far, like super smart, but they will not comment on the scarcity aspect. And it's going to hit the world by surprise in 2016 when the miners reward. If you know anything about supply and demand, that's how you find pricing. And the supply right now, let's say it's $850,000 a day, goes out to the security guards, which, not to go off track, but mining is not a profitable endeavor. It was brilliantly made. If you mine $100,000, you have 90,000 plus in expenses, whether it be electricity or equipment. And the equipment is hard to calculate because every time they come out with something higher tech, that devalues your old equipment. But long story short, a miner that mines $100,000 in Bitcoin has to pay rent and electricity, therefore selling his Bitcoin or their Bitcoin back into society on the open exchange or privately, whatnot. It has to go out. It is brilliantly designed. And so it's not like they could just turn on a machine and just collect Bitcoin. They have to turn on a machine, collect Bitcoin, and then now sell it on the open market. Anyways, it's already gone from 50 Bitcoin to 25. And roughly every 4 years, let's stay with that, it gets cut in half. So in 56 in about a year or less, it's going to be cut in half again. So that supply that's feeding the system right now is going to be cut in half again. And that's going to be a big wake-up call. And I'm a little bit disappointed that these people with a much higher IQ than me don't really emphasize the fact that the scarcity is going to run out. I guess it really doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things because, like I said, we're going to be dealing with microbits, and those will always be available and always transferable. But you have lots of industries and countries right now that have got a hold of Bitcoins, and they could easily, it's thinly traded, like almost like a micro cap company, where it's easy to move the market by just buying a million or selling a million. You can move it up, and so a lot of times you'll see within 2 months it'll skyrocket and come back down, and it's easy to run the market. Try to stay away from that. But anyone who's ever bought a microcap company, if you accidentally put a market order instead of a limit order, you could get hurt really quick. It's going to fulfill that order at much higher than the going rate. So you want to slowly buy with limit orders. It's the same with Bitcoin. Right now, since the market cap is 3-4 billion, it's real small. It's easy for countries and businesses to manipulate the market and then point to the volatility as a weakness. But as adoption comes, the volatility, the power to manipulate it goes down exponentially. So when it does have a market cap of 100 billion, no individual country, whether it be Russia or China or Visa, MasterCard, will able to play those tricks. And remember, you're always immune from these tricks if you buy and hold and don't watch it, because it's going to do one of these. They could adjust the market and move it, but they can't kill it. In other words, each step, each phase will always go higher as scarcity and adoption takes its toll. And so never look at price as value. Price is what you pay, value is what you get. Just to screw all the way back and buy one and keep it forever. You'll win out with that. You won't hear about that. Anyways, I think I'm running long. I don't know how long YouTube or podcast is supposed to be, so I'll just wrap it up. It's hard to wrap up though, huh? Anyways, very fun, very exciting, very world-changing stuff is happening, And once again, I just encourage you to have some fun. If you could spare $10 or $200 or whatever, you could download the apps. One maybe to start off with would be, like I said, Airbits or Circle's really cool too. I really like the way they've already a step ahead with using the dollar amounts, which we're all familiar with. And but with Circle, even though it's free, to fund it, you would have to do some things. So download a few wallets, grab $5 in Bitcoin, and and if you do love it like I do, and just think about it all day long, and just in awe of it, and the fact that they finally broke the there's always been a problem with if I'm not in the same room with you, I cannot transfer money to you. There has to be a third person, and this invention has got around that, and it's obviously passed every test. And you're totally allowed to hack it. It's not backed by any government, so we know with history and facts that it can't be hacked, the actual Bitcoin. So we now, for the first time in all history, can exchange money, any amount, anywhere, anytime, all the way across the world, for free. And that is a major milestone. That's something that no one saw coming, that would be possible. We always have to trust the institution, and there's plenty of trustable institutions and banks, and just like mail, it wasn't broken. Mail worked great, and when email came along, it was just such inconceivable that anybody would try to switch from a letter that cost 10 cents to put a stamp onto email. Our parents all told us no one in the right mind would ever switch it. The system's not broken. I don't need it. I don't want it. And now the post office is just devastated. In fact, I saw on Bloomberg, I could just go off rabbit trails forever, but the post office has put a white paper together, and they want to be able to provide Bitcoin. They do have their money transmitter license. They are trusted. They do have thousands of locations, and I think they could do a good job at it. So, just from that fact alone, that in the next couple of years they want to get that accomplished, and they think that will save them. But that shows you how the light has changed from a dark, scary place to people really adopting it and seeing the value. Any skeptics, I was 100% skeptic. If you really want to know everything about Bitcoin, try to destroy it. Try to find its flaws and then respond with the problems. That's what I did. And it just kept going down different rabbit trails that ended nowhere. I was absolutely wrong. And they basically thought of everything. The normal tactics, villainizing the owner and all the tactics, it doesn't matter. There is no owner. There's no one to shut down. There's no bad guys. There's none of the normal strategies to take down the competition are out there. So it's pretty amazing. I do want to cut this off. I could just go on forever. Anyways, thanks for listening.